Hello my friends, Paul here in the RoJoBe Music Workshop, and welcome to part 5 of the handmade bass guitar build project. Okay, so in the previous episode, part 4, I temporarily fitted 2 tuners, numbers 1 and 4, temporarily fitted some strings to it, and with my little gizmo at the bottom end of the guitar, I'd also put the strings through the bridge, and I was starting to find the correct location for the bridge. Unfortunately, I did start to run out of time at the end of the video as I was doing that process, but I had more or less got it. So I had the strings attached sort of at the bottom end of the guitar with a little bracket with hooks on it, and then through the bridge and up to the tuners, and you know, so that the bridge was still floating, and I could check the tuning and checking fretting at the 12th fret to check for intonation, and moving the bridge backwards and forwards until I got it more or less where it should be. And as I said, I did start to run out of time towards the end of the video. Well, that process is now finished. I've got that done, and I've, you know, once I got the good location for the bridge, I marked out the holes for the screws, drilled them, and so now, you know, the bridge has its position, and hopefully it will be correct, and just, you know, do a little bit of tweaking on the screws for the intonation when I come to string it up. I did find that when I made my electric guitar, the kind of Telecaster, I did it the same way, but I did end up having to move the bridge, and I'm not quite sure why it happened. It shouldn't have done, but it did, and that caused an issue with exposed screw holes that I wasn't using, and had to just make a little extra plate out of the pickguard material to cover that up, and that ended up just fine. I'm hoping I won't have to do that with this one. I shouldn't have to. You know, I should, because what I did is I had the intonation screws halfway up their adjustment, and then, you know, position the bridge on that. So, you know, if there is any tweaking needed for, you know, for sharp or for flat, I should have enough adjustment on the screws to be able to do it where it is. It should work. But knowing my luck, maybe it won't. It should do. It shouldn't be a problem. So I got that finished off camera. There was no point starting another video just to finish that, because I was pretty much done. I was almost there. So got that done. And a little bit of good news. I did manage to find the original nut. It is plastic, so it's not great, but this one, oh dear, covers the full width here. So it goes right to the end, both sides. So yeah, I did find the original nut, and like I said, it is plastic. I don't really like the plastic ones, but it is what it is. I mean, I might make a bone one later, but we'll see how well it works with this plastic one. It should be fine, and if it is, I may not make a new nut, but if I do have to, then I will. So as I said, I got the bridge mounted in its hopefully correct position. And I have actually done a bit more of the work off camera, again because it's noisy, messy, time consuming, not particularly interesting to watch. And so what I've done is the body contour here on the back. Now I think normally they go a little bit further in, you know, sort of right back here, but I've measured this basically against my body, and the bottom of my belly sits in there, so it's right for me. So I don't know how well you can see that, but pretty decent contour in there, all the way around there. So this is when I'm holding the guitar, this is sort of uppermost, this part, and I mean, you probably see I cut quite a bit of material out of that. It's, you know, there's quite a bit come out. Now I was originally thinking about doing it by hand with rasps, my Japanese Shinto rasp and other rasps and files, etc. But it would have taken quite a long time, probably a couple of hours at least. So I took off a bulk of the material with this beastie. So it's an angle grinder with, I think this is actually meant for wood, and it's a pretty aggressive cutting disc. Let me just put the guitar down for a second. Pretty aggressive cutting disc. Hold on, let me put my glasses on. I can't see a damn thing. It's got teeth all the way around here, lines of teeth. Pretty aggressive piece of kit this, and it was risky because this ain't no toy. This really rips the wood out, and so I did it in an area first where it wouldn't matter if I'd made a little mistake, sort of the thickest part of the piece, the bit that I had to take out, and it seemed to work absolutely fine. So I did it with this, and it took a few minutes, 3-4 minutes maybe, with this to take out like 90% of the material. Now, as I said, that could have taken hours with, doing it by hand. So I did it initially with this to take out the bulk of the material, and then finished it with my Shinto rasp and, various files, and lastly sandpaper. Once I got the shape and the contour that I was happy with, I then, went over it with sandpaper. And I'm really happy with how that's turned out. It's lovely. I mean, the whole thing needs a good sanding anyway yet, but that's there were a few little bumps in it here and there that I had to take out, but now it feels absolutely amazing. So there's that one on the back, and I've also done the one on the front here. So this is basically where your arm goes, and again, taken out quite a bit of material. And what I really like about how this has turned out is, this is the body, the arm contour on the front, and you see how the wood kind of goes, it sort of goes around like that. So yeah, I think that's turned out really well. Really happy with that. And again, I did this with that aggressive machine first to take out the bulk of the material, and then finished it by hand and got it all nice and smooth, and really good. I'm really happy with that. And the other thing I've done, and I do apologise, I was going to film it but I didn't, is I've made the pick guard. So personally, I'm quite happy with it like this, going all the way up these wings, I guess you call them, and surrounding the fretboard here, and coming down to almost halfway down the body and going straight across. So it didn't actually take all that long to do this. I marked out the shape around here first, and then kind of took off about 10 mil all the way around the edge. Okay, both edges, all edges. Took about 10 mil off all the way around the edge. So it's all the way around. It's about 10 mil from the edge of the guitar body, and I've still got to do all the contouring of the edges. There's still all that to do yet, but there's no point doing that yet. So, and I've got all of the tuners in now, and the truss rod cover. I mean, the neck and headstock is done. There's no point not putting it all together. The only thing I have left to do on the headstock is to install a string tree. But obviously I can't do that until I've got the strings on, and I know exactly where they go. So that's obviously going to be one of the last stages. But apart from that, the neck and headstock is done. So I thought, why not just put it together, you know, to save the bits and pieces, all the hardware rattling around in a tin. Thought I might as well just put it on. So I've done the body contours there for basically the armrest, and this for my belly. And I've made the pick guard. I mean, it's not fully finished yet. It still needs to be sanded and painted, and it looks a bit odd at the moment, but bear in mind the guitar body is going to be white, and I'm going to do the pick guard black, and probably do an engraving on it as well. More on that later. So where I'm at right now is starting to cut out all of the cavities for the pickups and the controls and the jack. So that is the stage I'm at now. So I've done a little bit of preparation off camera. I've drawn some lines, so I've continued this center line up the center of the pick guard as well. And I've also drawn lines following the angle of the side of the neck, so all the way down here, and the same this side. So I've got lines down the center and following the line of the edge of the fretboard. So obviously, you know, it gradually tapers outwards. Now the reason I've done that is to find the center, because I'm going to be mounting one pickup here, right under the neck, and I've decided I'm going to put the other one halfway between the bottom of the pick guard and the top of the bridge. So it's going to go sort of here, in the middle between those. And obviously with this I'm using a Telecaster control panel, and that's going to be going approximately there on the body, and then obviously the jack is going to be somewhere around this corner. So that's where I'm at now, starting to cut out the body cavities. So I'm going to start with the neck pickup, because why not? But you know, joking aside, it's a little bit more work than some of the other components, because this is one of the pickup surrounds or shroud or whatever you want to call it. So that's going to be going here. Let me just zoom in a touch. That's going to be going here, just under the bridge, and I've got to recess the surround into the pick guard so that it's the same level as the body, and obviously the same level as the other pickup and the bridge. Now one thing I'm a little concerned about, well it's not a concern really, is that I may have mounted the neck too deep into the body, i.e. too far back that way. I don't think so, because the bottom edge of the fretboard, you can't see that, so the bottom edge of the fretboard is in line with the top edge of the body. You can't see it, well you can see it just a little bit here. So the bottom edge of the fretboard is level with the top edge of the body. Now I think that's right, it should be right. But if it is too low, if it does end up that it's too low, all I need to do is remove the neck and make a shim to go into the neck pocket, just to raise it up a bit. Really easy job, nothing to it. But I don't think I'll have to, but I'm not too sure just yet, so we'll have to see how that goes. But it should be fine. So with the neck pickup, as I said, I've got to recess the surround into the pick guard, and then obviously cut the cut the hole in the body for the pickup itself. Right, so I'm going to need a little bit of extra light. Unfortunately it does kind of get some wavering on the camera with that, but there's not much I can do. I need this light. So let me just bring it forward a little bit, angle the camera down a touch. How are we looking there? Good. Okay, so using these lines I've drawn on here, I can kind of centralize the pickup surround, So I want to leave a little gap between the end of the fretboard and the top edge of the pickup surround, but you know, you want it pretty close to the neck. So I need a small ruler, and I'm going to use these side lines here to help me to line this up first of all. So I want an equal distance either side, and at the moment that's looking okay. So I'm going to measure from the inside edge of the pickup surround to that line following the side of the fretboard. Thank you. And just make sure we've got equal distance between that line and the inside of the pickup surround there, and the same this side. So let me just try and straighten it up a little bit first. Bring it down a touch. Okay, so we've got, let's see, we've got, it's quite difficult to see that, but we've got 2.5 mil, and this side it's nearer 3, so it's got to go across just a fraction. Looking there, let's see. So we've now got just under 3 and just under 3. Looks about right. Now someone once said, I don't know who it was, but someone once said, if it looks right, it is right. I mean, because of, you know, the angles on a guitar, it's quite difficult to make accurate measurements from one side to another. So I do tend to do quite a bit literally by eye. So let's just run a ruler down that edge. Looking about right. Yeah, okay. Now I also want to measure the distance between the bottom of the pickup surround to the bottom of the pick guard to make sure we've got the same distance there. And here we've got 7.3 and slightly more that side, so just bring it down a touch, and we've got 7.3, 7.2 and a half. So we'll just bring that up a fraction. Okay, check that. 7 point, almost 3. Just tap it up a little bit. 7.3, 7.3. And as for side to side, yep, I'm happy with that. So I'm going to hold that in place now, and I'm going to use my automatic center punch to go through the screw holes and mark those, hopefully without this thing moving. So I'm going to hold it down firm. Actually, let me just check my measurements one more time before I do. So we've got, yeah, see, that has moved already. Okay. Right, I'm happy with that. Very difficult to get that without it moving. Okay, so I'm going to use my center punch to mark the holes for the screws. That did move a touch then. Right, so that's the screw holes marked. So I'm just going to check everything one more time. We've got 7.3. Oh, that one's moved. 7.3 and side to side. Spot on. Good. Okay. So, don't know how well you'll see that, but I've now got the holes marked for the screws. And what I'm going to do now is take the pick guard off and actually no. I'm not going to at this stage. I'm going to drill the holes for the screws with it in place so that it goes into the body as well, so that I know that everything is lined up the way it should be. So I'm going to start with a pilot hole of, let's say 2mm. Okay. Didn't tighten that properly. Try that again. Okay. So I do it on fast speed. Don't need to be too deep. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is temporarily mount the surround with the screws so that I can then accurately draw around it for the part that I'm going to cut out. So I've got to find the screws first. Should have got that sorted, I've got everything else sorted. Right, there they are. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. So I want my little screwdriver for this. How are we doing for time? Not great. Alright, let's crack on with this. Yeah, I mean, this stage, and it's the same when doing any work with the neck. You're screwing things on, taking them off, bolting them on, taking them off. Which I don't really like doing that much, because sometimes the screw holes or the bolt holes can, waller out a little bit. But provided you're careful, it's not normally a problem. I'm not cranking down on these screws. I'm just nipping them up so that the thing doesn't move. Excuse me. While I draw around it. It's going to be tricky to get in there. Okay, I'll figure it out. Right, so with all the screws now holding it in place, I'm going to check one more time. It does look as though it's moved, but there's not much I can do about it now. So we've got 7.3, 7.3 side to side. It actually looks crooked, but measuring it to the bottom end of that pick guard, it is correct. 7.3, 7.3. Centimetres, that is. I probably said millimetres earlier, it's centimetres. But yeah, by eye, it looks good. I mean, looking at these pencil lines down here, actually I've just figured it out. Because they taper, it's looking crooked, but it's not. It is correct. So, yeah, that's fine. Okay, so I'm going to use my mechanical pencil to attempt to draw around this. Can I get in there? I can, that's good. So I'm going to carefully draw a line around the pickup surround, making sure that's nice and accurate. Okay. Right. So now I'll quickly whip that off. I'll make sure I put the screws back in the tin so I don't lose them. Right, so there's a nice line drawn there where the pickup surround is going to be recessed into the pick guard. So I'm going to remove the pick guard and then cut that piece out, which I'm going to do off camera because I'm just about to run out of time. But you know, we've still got all of the other all of the other cavities to cut out yet. But that's the beginning part of this. So I'm going to remove the pick guard, cut that out. I'll do that off camera. And then once I've done that, because I've got the screw holes in the body as well, I won't need to put the pick guard back on to line the pickup surround up to start to cut out the middle part. So do that off camera, and then part 6 will probably be more of the cavity marking and or cutting. In the meantime, please look after yourselves, look after each other. We will see you soon. Peace out.